And you signed off on it?
I didn't sign off one way or the other. I told him that he has to discuss it with Secretary Rumsfeld.
And he did?
He says that he did. I was not in on those conversations.
So did Secretary Rumsfeld sign off on it?
I did not find in the record any piece of paper in which Secretary Rumsfeld signed off on it.
And you had never asked Secretary Rumsfeld? That's the part I find hard to believe. I mean, there are hundreds of decisions.
We've talked about it lately.
I mean, this isn't one of hundreds of decisions. This is a decision to dissolve the Iraqi army.
Well, the Iraqi army was at that point dissolved. This was the issue of, do you reconstitute them or start from scratch with a new military?
Well, you're raising doubts about whether there was approval. That's why I'm doing this.
No, what I'm saying is the process by which this decision was made was not a great process.
Fife, now a professor at Georgetown University, intimates in his book that none of this might have happened if the administration had stuck with his plan for post-war Iraq, which involved quickly ceding some authority and responsibility to a group of Iraqi exiles and Kurds, which included Ahmed Chalabi.
We developed plans to try to give meaning to the concept of liberation rather than occupation. And one of my great regrets is that the United States wound up setting up an occupation government in Iraq for 14 months, which I think was a serious mistake.
Fife says there have been lots of errors in judgment, but not by him. He is generous in his criticism of Secretary of State Colin Powell, CIA Director George Tenet, and General Tommy Franks, and they have returned the favor plus interest.
General Franks, I don't have to tell you what he said, but he called you...
It was not nice.
It was not nice. Basically the dumbest guy on the face of the planet. Former CIA Director George Tenet called your intelligence evaluations total crap. This isn't normal Washington discourse.
I agree. And some people, when they deal with controversy, political issues, use harsh language. I don't think it's a great thing.
And this is a lot of vitriol directed at you. They don't use it in general. They directed it at you. Why do you think that is?
You'd have to ask them.
Some of them have already answered that question in books of their own or with quotes in the books of others, portraying Fife as a bureaucratic bully hell-bent on war. The most frequent and damaging charge has been that Fife used his Pentagon office to produce alternative intelligence reports that link Saddam to al-Qaeda, then pass them on to the White House. Some of it, like a report that 9/11 hijacker Mohammed Atta met with Iraqi intelligence in Prague, has been widely discredited. An investigation by the Pentagon's Inspector General called Fife's activities inappropriate, but not illegal or unauthorized.
This was a rebuke. You agree?
Yes, and I think it was an unfounded rebuke, an ill-founded rebuke.
And are you happy with the way things have played out in Iraq?
No, I don't think anybody can be happy. We've had terrible losses. We have the Americans who've lost their lives and Iraqis who've lost their lives, our coalition partners. It's been, a costly war.
Do you still think this was the right thing to do, knowing now what you know?
I think the president made the right decision given what he knew and given what we all knew. And to tell you the truth, even given what we've learned since.
In his memoir, Fife doesn't dwell on the terrible human cost of the war, but he clearly has been moved by it. He's donating all of his proceeds from the book to a foundation he's created to benefit veterans and their families.
60 Minutes. We're always on CBSNews.com.